Greetings and welcome back to my game room. Back in May of 2025, I published a video on games that I had played in the preceding month. And that included a game there that I had invented myself, which was called Gemology. No, it's not 1,000 years old. It's not historically significant, at least not yet. But if you don't mind, I thought I'd take a couple of minutes and just show you how the game works and see if you might be interested in buying a copy. Yes, the game is called Gemology. Of course, gemology is a study of gems. The classic aspects of cut, clarity, color, and carats. And in this game, the players are attempting to collect gems and score points for the gems they collect. Yes, it is kind of a pasted-on theme, but in-game values are kind of emphasized by this gem reference. The game consists of a deck of 72 cards. Most of them describe a color and cut of gems. There are some wild cards and some other cards. I'll explain those in a minute. And each player will have a scorecard. Each of these 7 scorecards are unique in the game. They all have different values for gems printed on them. Again, I'll explain that in a minute. And each player will also have a set of colored cubes, and these colored cubes then will be placed upon their scorecard to keep track of how many of a certain colored gem they have acquired during the course of the game. And the features on these scorecards are each gem color has a score track, a vertical track with numbers in there of how much you score when your colored cube reaches that square. At the top of each of these columns is a star shape, and if the related cube reaches that star shape, then every card of that color becomes a wild card in the future. And that's mighty powerful. And then finally at the upper right corner here is a small star shape with a +3 in that. That's for some bonus points, which again I'll discuss later. Now, I'm going to set up a game here for 3 players so that we can kind of see how things flow around the table. Now you'll notice that the second square on each of these columns has got a 2 in it. Everybody basically starts with 7 points. There is a sort of an advanced rule or something a little more challenging that you can play to start all these cubes off the card so that your first step is to get to the 1-pointer, and your ultimate scores are a little bit more challenging to achieve when you start off the card. Just trying to keep the game interesting for the advanced players. Also, in the middle of the table, we've got a set of the 7 colored cubes. That's to keep track of the bonus points, and I'll explain that later. And we have a 6-sided die here, and that is not used as a randomizer. It's used to track the number of rounds as the game progresses. The game is played in 7 rounds, starts with the 1 on top, and every time you start a new round, you flip the die over. And when you get to 6, you have 1 more round to go before the end of the game. So now that we've got the scorecard set up for 3 players, let's take a look at these cards and talk about what they all mean. Most of the cards in the deck, like this little purple one here, are just gem cards. They each have a color and a shape of a gem, and that's what they're for. But there are also wild cards in the deck, which are a rainbow card like this, and those cards can be representative of any color card or any other card. It's probably a better way to say it. Okay, now I want to talk a little about the +1 cards. If you have 1 +1 card, it has no value. Doesn't do a thing for you. But you play them in pairs just as if they were a color, and now you can move any cube up 1 space. It's sort of like a combo wild card, right? So it acts like a wild card. So you can move any cube if you play the 2 matching +1s. Now the wild card, as I said before, can be any card. So if you have a wild card, it can be a +1. So that combination is +1. What doesn't work is if you have 2 +1 cards, which would allow you to move a cube up. The wild card doesn't allow you to boost it 1 extra. So there is a limit to this. +1 is +1, and that's all it does for you. I hope that's clear. If not, drop me an email or something. I'll try to explain it again, but it's pretty straightforward, I think. So let's say I'm the dealer, and I'm going to start this round with the die set on the number 1 on the table. All the cards get shuffled well and then dealt out to the players. And there's my hand. Okay. Ooh, that's quite a hand. I've got 2 wild cards here. So in order to score a point on my scorecard, what I need to do is to be able to play 2 cards that match in color. And so here's 2 orange cards, which would allow me to move my orange cube up 1 space on that column on my scorecard. I also have some wild cards here, and the wild card, of course, can be any color. And so I could play 2 blue cards on my turn to move my blue cube up the blue column. I could also use this wild card to represent another orange card. So if I have an additional orange card, I can move that orange cube up 1 bonus space. It is possible, as you see here, to use these all as orange cards. So that in that case, I could move my orange cube up 3 spaces, 1 for the pair, and then 1 each for the additional orange cards. But you're going to want to watch the scorecards of your neighbors in this game. And you can play with 7, so the whole table could be filled with players here, but you can only influence the neighbors right on your left and right. And you'll want to see what colors are most valuable for them, because every one of these scorecards is different. Let us refer to the player aid card. Now there are 2 of these in the box, and so they can be passed around the table. Once you get used to how the rhythm of the game goes, you won't need them anymore. But let's just go down the step-by-step of each turn in the game using this card as a reference. So you see the first thing on the card here is the bonus bet. At the beginning of any of your turns, as it comes around to you, you can decide that you have confidence that you will achieve the topmost scoring base on your scorecard for a specific color. That means, for example, if I think I'm going to be able to reach to the star with my green cube, then I am going to take this green cube from the center of the table and put it on that +3 space. So at the end of the game, if I have indeed achieved that, then I'll get 3 extra bonus points. Now there's a very rare situation that you may take a color like that to prevent another player from getting those 3 points. You may still get them, but once a cube is missing from that center grouping, nobody else can take that cube and keep them from getting those 3 points. All right, number 2, pick and pass. You had these 5 cards you've been dealt, and this is a really good hand, so this is going to be a painful process. You have to take 2 cards out of your hand, pass 1 to the player on your right, pass the other to the player on your left. That can be kind of a painful thing to do because I have to give up this wild card. We're early in the game here, so it really doesn't have a lot of impact on what's going on. So I take these 2 cards and I pass them to those 2 players. This player to my right is going to do the same for me. I'll just randomly grab a card off the top here. And the player to my left is going to be passing a card to me as well, and they're also exchanging cards on that side of the table. So now let's see what I have to play with. I kept the 3 in the middle here, so that's still a pretty good hand. But I could use these 2 guys to move a different cube, or I could use the wild card and the black to move the black cube up. So that's my choice. So now it's time to play the round, and that starts with the player to the left of the dealer. So let's see what we've got over here. Player number 2 has 2 blues, an orange, and a wild card. So let's see, the blue track on that player's score track here is only 3 cubes high. So these 2 allow that cube to move up 1 space, and the wild card, pretending it's blue, can move up a 2nd space. So that's a really good start on that blue track. So those get laid in the discard pile. You keep those other 2 cards, and now let's see what player number next says here. Quite a variety of cards here. We can make a pair out of the wild card and something else. Let's go with yellow, because why not? So that counts as 2 yellow cards, which means that this cube can move up 1 space. So that's the end of the round. Now it's time for the reset step. Discard all the played cards. Dealer passes the dealer token to the left. That's the die. Put it on a number 2, like so. And then that next player deals out cards to the others around the table, enough to bring their hand back up to 5. And thus begins the next round. And finally, when you get all the way around to the 6, you get to play one more round and then add up all the scores. Everybody gets an equal number of turns in this game. There is one more rule that's not on this player aid card, and that is the passing rule. Basically, if you have a hand like what I have here, 5 cards that don't allow you to play anything, you can't move any cubes because of the stuff that's in this hand. It's just a lousy hand. What you can do is pick the cards here that might be valuable to you on the next round and just discard the rest. That's the end of your turn. You didn't achieve anything from it, but you can take those extra cards and just ditch them. And then when the next dealer comes around to replenish your hand or reset for the next round, you'll be dealt back up to 5 cards, and hopefully you'll get a combination that works better. Doesn't happen very often, but it's there just in case you get that kind of a lousy hand. So again, the first thing I do is decide if I want to do a bonus bet. I'm almost to the top of the row here on the orange, so I'm going to say I'm going to bet that I get the orange column. Next player gets to do a bonus bet if they want to. Next player gets to do a bonus bet if they want to. And it's back to me, and it's time for the pass and play. So finally, after you get done with all 7 rounds, you just add up your score, and whoever has the highest score wins. Now, generally what I do is just count right across the columns and add them up as I go. So for example, reading from left to right, 3 points, plus 4 points, that's 7, plus 3 points, that's 10, plus 5 more, 15, 1 point for the next column, that's 16, plus 3 is 19, plus 3 is 21. I did not get my bonus point here. I bet that I was going to top that orange column, and I didn't do it after all. Probably because my neighbor here saw that I was going to try to go orange, and they passed those orange cards away from me at every chance they got. So everybody compares their scores, and there you go. And so that's Gemology. That's the name of the game. I hope you enjoyed this little instructional video here, and I hope you get a chance to go check it out. The links, of course, are right here on the YouTube page, or you can go over to NewVentureGames.com and look it up. It's a great little family game. It's different every time because the score cards are different. The deck of cards is different every time, especially if you shuffle them well. And I definitely look forward to your comments to let me know how you enjoyed the game. So thanks again for tuning in. I'll see you next week with more historical game information. Be sure to play every day.